Well, I guess we might as well just start since we're here. I'm Dennis, and I'm over at Holy Smoke Cigars in East Ridge, Tennessee. And we're doing our podcast this morning with a dear friend of mine who is very much like a sister, because we would never, ever have dated.
I don't think I can continue. That's too awful.
But it is so good to have Stephanie Birmingham here. We have been, how long have we been friends? 25 years?
Something like that, yeah. Been about that.
And we've gone through a lot of crap together.
We've seen it. We're not telling stories today, are we? Okay.
I don't know. We might.
We might. Yeah, that may be a good idea.
We'll only tell the ones where you caused the problem.
Okay. Because I don't know any others.
But Stephanie is not a cigar smoker, but she was coming to town, and I asked her specifically to be here because, number one, she has been in radio for many, many years. A lot of you folks will remember Stephanie Birmingham from being on WGOW in the afternoons for many years. You tended to get a little bit political on there,
From time to time. It happened, yeah.
And she's not exactly a lefty, so...
not even close.
There's that. And so we're probably going to stay away from politics today, although who knows? You never can tell what might happen. But I wanted Stephanie to come in because tell us about your, I say, newest adventure, but what have you been doing for the last few years in Nashville?
In Nashville, after 34 years, 34 and a half in radio, which I loved from the time I was 16, I moved to Nashville, did a little bit of radio, but radio changed a lot. And it's not what it used to be. It's not the wild, wild west that it was. And everything kind of changed. And with COVID, when all that happened, I needed something to do. And I was so crazed from working at home all the time. I walked into a liquor store and said, anything. Can I do anything? I didn't know the difference in rum, tequila, vodka. I'd heard of them. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And
because you were such a big drinker.
It's funny because I never was. I mean, even in the wild radio days, there could have been other things. I don't know. But no, I never was. So I never really knew anything about it. And I just took the job to have something to do. And then it became an adventure. I can learn about this. And not only that bourbon and vodka are different, but how they're made. How do you, and it builds and it builds and it builds. And I became fascinated with it, and now I am. And I work at the oldest liquor store in Nashville. It's Wendell Smith's Liquors.
Okay.
It's been there 80 years.
Wow.
Next year will be 80 years. And family-owned still, the great-grandson of Wendell Smith.
Okay.
Cowden Clark is our owner. And it's featured in a lot of country music videos that you see, from Jelly Roll to Jason Aldean. Featured, it's huge. People know what Wendell's is. Very cool place. And I got more and more interested in the liquor business, and still not a drinker, but it's something I enjoy and something you and I have in common. And now I can actually talk about it with at least a little bit of having an idea of what I'm talking about.
Well, with me being somewhat of a notorious Scotch drinker, you probably know virtually everything I've ever tried at this point.
Well, we used to talk about that. I know that you like the very peaty, the Lafroig, the what's another super peaty?
Ardbeg.
Yeah, that's another.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Lagavulin.
Okay. Yeah. And I do know that about you. Scotch is, believe it or not, I probably know less about that than anything else.
Yeah.
I know the brands and all of that, but bourbon has become such a thing.
Yeah.
It's a hobby. It's a way of life. So many collectors are out there. And then the fascination of what makes this different from that. And not a quantum leap into cigars.
Right.
And they go hand in hand.
Well, that
with beautiful music.
Cool. It was pretty, wasn't it? I guess I ought to turn my ringer off on my phone. Well, that was a nice segue, and let me just go there. We occasionally will do a pairing event here at Holy Smoke with a liquor brand or several types of liquor or whatever, and we try to pair the right cigar with the right whiskey. We recently had Ed Cole, who is the owner of J.W. Kelly, and he was in here and just gave us a wealth of knowledge. He gave us a history lesson on J.W. Kelly coming to Chattanooga right after the Civil War.
Wow.
And it was really it was one of the first things that I've ever really seen as a presentation with AI. And this is annoying. Would you get rid of this, please? Just take that away somewhere. Thank you. But he had AI with the picture of J.W. Kelly taken in 1908, and they made that picture talk. And then he had other guys in the same video from that same era who were other whiskey people. And they talked and told the story of how J.W. Kelly and other whiskey brands came to Chattanooga. And it was quite fascinating and very entertaining and very educational. And so we do a lot of that. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is and I don't even know if this might be a possibility, if your liquor store would even find it interesting or possibly have some value to come down here and do a tasting for us. And it's something we can entertain later, but we have done one with a wine company out of Nashville. Now they do serve some of the liquor stores here, but we really like to pair the right cigar with the right whiskey. And for instance, when we were going to do the J.W. Kelly tasting, I went in the interest of research and bought several bottles of J.W. Kelly, brought it down here, and I would open a bottle, take a sip of whiskey, get a cigar, try another cigar, and I tried to figure out what cigars I felt like were the best ones with that particular whiskey. Now, generally speaking, it's not an exact science. If you're a Maduro cigar guy like I am typically, I love dark, rich tobaccos, and a Maduro is going to go well with a bourbon or a Scotch typically. If we were doing something with vodka, and we haven't done that before, I would probably go with a lighter cigar.
You kind of answer my question. I was going to say bourbon cigars. I get that because I'm novice when it comes to cigars. It's like another language.
Yeah.
And I know they go together, but liquor stores and cigars, usually you don't have high-end both in there. Right. Sometimes, but not normally. So my question was things like rum and cigars, vodka. Is that a thing? Tequila and cigars?
Rum is very good with cigars.
Okay.
We've got a couple of guys who are rum people here, and Gabe and Greg both really like rums, and they know about rum. And so I've tried some rums with them, and I'm not a rum guy, but it's really funny how some of these liquors really do cross a line. I've got a very good friend, Paul Dominguez, who knows a lot about cigars and he knows a lot about liquors. And back several years ago, he brought a bottle in a brown bag at another cigar shop across town, and he said, "I brought something for you to try." Now, Paul knows that I'm a Scotch guy, and he brought this in, and he did not take it out of the bag. He poured a little bit over a cube of ice and handed it to me. I took a sip of it and went, "Wow, what is that Scotch?" And he said, "That's not Scotch, that's tequila."
What?
And that's what I said. I went, "No way." And he had brought a tequila that tasted very, very much like Scotch. So there are some blurred lines, which can actually be very interesting and entertaining.
They do have them, and you see it more and more with the cask aged tequilas, which of course you're going to have with bourbon. So I can see where you're going with that. I wouldn't have come up with it, or mistaking whiskey for tequila. But then again, it's not that out of the ballpark.
Right.
It's interesting to me, and I wish that I could talk a little bit better sense about cigars. But if you can school me a little bit,